In this video, we're going to show you how to install the fuel pump on your Kia Sorento located underneath the rear seats. With the hood open, go ahead and locate your battery right here on the driver's side front portion of the vehicle. We'll use a 10mm socket, our extension and ratchet, to go ahead and loosen the 10mm nut here. Go ahead and give this a twist. Go ahead and pull it up and off and set it aside. Now, here we are on the driver's side rear area, and we have to remove the back seat here. We're going to start by popping off these two plastic covers. I'm going to go ahead and use a trim tool, just go underneath the plastic and the carpet and just kind of gently pry that out, and do that on both sides. That's going to expose these two bolts here we need to remove. Using a 14mm socket, we're going to go ahead and remove these bolts. Now on the backrest here, just to the side of your headrest is going to be a lever. You're going to pull up and forward and then pull the seat forward and fold it all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other side seat as well. Now with the seats folded down, this forward panel right here, we do need to lift up on this. Now that's going to expose some plastic covers here. Like this here is loose, is probably not in the correct position, and you might have this as a tray fitting in there as well. You basically just need to remove these. Get them out of there. And we need to access these two bolts here on the back. These bolts here we're going to remove are both 14mm as well. I want to grab our seat. This is probably going to be the toughest part of this job. I'm going to tilt it up. And one of the seat belts has this little strap. Here it is. Just a little elastic band that holds that seat belt up in place. You can grab that seat, flip that up, and remove it. Now that we have this seat removed, we're going to go ahead and repeat for the other side. I'll go ahead and pull the carpet out. I'm just going to use a securing strap to go ahead and hold this up out of the way. You're going to use your trim tool, and this one here is broken. We'll go ahead and pop this out here. Come on over to the other side. I'm going to pop this up, out. Come on over here. Pop this grommet. Now in order to get to that connector there, we're going to pop this cover off. Now these are just held in place by an adhesive. And it's a self-curing adhesive, so it'll re-stick again. And here's that connector, so you're going to press down on that tab right there. And separate this. Come on back over to the side that we need to pay attention to here. And go ahead and pry this one up here. Now our two connectors right here. We have our fuel tank pressure sensor right here. This little tab, you're going to lift up on that and wiggle that connector off. Then here is the actual power for the fuel pump unit, and you're going to press in on this little tab right here. You can see it moves in. So you can pinch that and wiggle it up. Now there's a bunch of debris around here. Key thing you want to pay attention to is clean this up. You don't want any garbage falling down inside the tank once we pull this unit out. So go ahead and use a vacuum, air hose, blowgun, something, clean this out. Now that we have the top of our fuel system cleaned here, the next step you want to do is go ahead and we're going to pinch this rubber grommet. And what we're trying to do here is get a little bit more room here, get that cover up and out of the way. Now, as you can see, we've added a containment bucket here, so when we pull this out, it is going to have fuel in it. You're going to want to put that into something, not pull it through the vehicle, dripping fuel everywhere. have some rags available. Now I want to go ahead and disconnect our fuel lines here, and then we're going to be undoing our locking collar here to go ahead and pull this up and out. Safest thing right now, make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area with fans going, exhaust, whatever you need to do, but you want to go ahead and take care of this so that you don't have the fuel vapors building up. On each side of this here, there's going to be little pinch tabs. We're going to pinch these here and then slide this off. Tiny bit of fuel pressure there, not a lot at all. Now I have a rag here. I'm just going to kind of tuck this over on the side, just for now. This one here, I want to push down on this and slide this off. Now while doing this here, you want to be wearing safety glasses as well. And pop that off. Now the next step is we want to go ahead and loosen our lock collar here. We're going to be using a brass punch here. You do not want to be using a screwdriver where you can cause a spark and, well, you could go boom. You don't want that to happen. So take precautions, use a brass punch. I want to go ahead and work on this, see if we can get this collar loose. You know, at this point here, before I go ahead and pull everything off, I am going to go use compressed air to clean up the rest of this stuff. I did spray some rust penetrant around the perimeter here just to help me out. You may not need that, but if you do, go ahead and spray that. But I am going to go ahead and clear that out right now. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses if you're doing this. I'm going to go ahead and use a crayon here. I'm just going to mark where this is lined up here. There's one there and there's one here. So when we drop the new component in, you want to make sure that it is lined up. That's going to make a difference for when you're installing your electrical connectors. You don't want this twisted, as well as the float down inside the tank. Now you have a float on here that's going to be hanging on the side. And you're also going to have a fuel line connected to the base right here. It's very similar to the one on the top here that had a push button on it. We need to press in on that. Separating that fuel line, let that fuel drain out. And remove that and set that into your bucket. Now on the top here, we also have an O-ring gasket. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. I'm going to go ahead and wipe the top of the tank or blot it. Trying not to get anything down inside that tank, but we do want to make sure that this is clean. Now when you take your component out of the box here, this is what you're going to see. You get your fuel pump assembly, and we have the float on an elastic band. Remove that elastic band. Remove the protective bag off of the float. And remove that. You want to go ahead and position it this way here. Now this right here is the rheostat for your float level reading. What you want to do is take the rod here and you're going to line it up. So this here will pivot back and forth. So you want to go ahead and insert this in here and you press this in until it snaps on. Once it's snapped on, that'll move together. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and remove the caps. There's one on the bottom here, and then you have two on the top. You want to go ahead and remove those. Now the pump itself is ready for installation. Don't forget, take out your new O-ring gasket. You want to go ahead and install this on the top of the tank, and then go ahead and drop this down inside, attaching the transfer pump unit to the base. Lower it down and continue with the installation. Go ahead and lower your O-ring down onto the top of the tank. Get that into place. And reach down into that tank and grab that fuel port right here. Grab your fuel pump assembly. I'm going to go ahead and push this on. You're going to hear it and feel it engage. Now we need to tip this unit down at an angle to get our float down inside the tank. Grab your lock collar. Gonna line that up. I want to push this fuel pump down. Get that lock collar pushed down, and we'll just kind of rotate that slightly just to get that to kind of engage there. I'll go ahead and use your brass punch here to go ahead and tap that on and lock it in. We're pretty much seated here. Now what we want to do is go ahead and pop our fuel lines on. Now take a little bit of spray solvent and give it a quick squirt. There is a rubber seal in there that'll help kind of slide that in and then push it on. And you're going to feel it in here and engage. Do the same on the other one here. I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to go ahead and line up our connectors. Snap that on. Snap that on. Gonna work our rubber grommet through here. And pop our connector on here. Feed our connector through, connect that onto this other side here. Drop this down into place. Install that rubber grommet. And at this point here, we're going to go ahead and clean everything up, and we'll drop our carpet back down. So you bring your carpet down into position. You want to make sure that you bring your seatbelt up through the hole here. Now we're on the perimeter here with the carpet pulled up from the trim. Go ahead and use a plastic trim tool. Go ahead, just tuck that carpet in underneath the edge. Now our carpet is pressed down into position. Now's the perfect time, if you want to, go ahead and give this carpet a good vacuuming. Then we're going to go ahead and lower our seats down into position. Now we have the 2 rear bolts installed. We're going to go ahead and drop this cover down. We're going to flip up our seat. Then we're going to install the 2 front bolts. Once we get the 2 front bolts in, we're going to tighten all 4 of those down, pop the plastic caps on, and then repeat for the driver's side. Make sure those are good and tight. Take your caps. Snap these on. Flip that seat back down. Flip up that cover. And tighten down the back bolts. Now when you're bringing this seat into position, you do want to pay attention to the center seat belt. It does need to go up into a spot on the bottom of the seat. Now there's a little elastic here on the bottom. It's actually part of the mat flap here. The seat belt is going to go up through that. You want to flip up the back here. There it is. Going to repeat this process here. Install the 2 back ones. Flip up the seat, install the 2 front ones, tighten down the front, pop on the caps, and then tighten down the rear bolts. If you had one of those tray things in here, you go ahead and reinstall that. And drop down your cover. Now we're just going to reach underneath the seat. You're going to grab that seat belt. It needs to come up through this port right here. There it is. Now that we've got our seat installed, go ahead and reconnect that ground terminal on the battery. Hop into the vehicle, turn the key 2 times to the start position, let that fuel pump prime, start it up, and go for a road test. Install your ground terminal. You want to make sure that that's down as far as it'll go on that post. Go ahead and secure this. And make sure it's good and tight. Give that terminal a wiggle, make sure it's good and secured. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.